You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Cult of Campbell.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm Ty.
Yay, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
You forgot.
I'm Ian.
And today we are looking at a very special movie, in my opinion. Bubba Ho Tep.
We've been-
2002 cult classic.
Yeah, this has been one you've been wanting us to watch for
Absolutely.
a minute.
Yeah, it is. That's one of my favorites.
Pushing
It's-
for it. It was almost the first.
Yeah,
It's almost
the
the first
Yeah,
recording.
it's almost the first episode that we was going to do.
Yeah.
We
Did
decided,
Evil Dead instead.
Yeah, it made more sense.
Oh, and speaking of Evil Dead, you might remember from our last episode that we need a tiebreaker.
dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Our groovy, not groovy, needs to be broken.
I had
It's
massive
all-
diarrhea and had to step out.
Boy, wow.
No,
And now-
I wasn't feeling too good, so I sat out the second half. But yes, I will offer
He
my
missed out
opinion.
on the
Yes.
quality, so now
So
it's
stay tuned
all
for
on
our-
Ian.
So
Our
yeah,
tiebreaker.
Ian is going to be the tiebreaker.
He
I
has to
hope he
break the Evil
understands
Dead
that
tie.
there is a right and wrong answer here.
There it is. And we're going to find out which one he chooses later on in the Quality of Campbell segment.
Yep.
So Bubba Ho Tep is directed by Don Coscarelli, who did the Phantasm movies, which I've only seen like parts of one.
I
Yeah.
haven't actually seen any of them.
They're all on Tubi, or not Tubi,
Shudder.
Shudder. Yeah, they're all on Shudder.
Oh, okay.
And
And-
I think they're on Tubi as well for free. So.
And I started to, because I know I need to watch these. I'm a big fan of the
I know they're a
old
big
ones.
horror staple.
Yeah, and I've never watched them. I started watching the first one, and I can't remember what happened. I didn't end up. I don't know if I got distracted or if something else happened. I got to very beginning of it, and so yeah, it's not a series I'm very familiar with.
No, same.
Same here.
I know that there's like a cameo in it from like the guy. It's like in this movie the old folks home like director guy, the bald guy. I know he's
Yeah.
like the star of like the Phantasm movies.
Okay.
It's like a cameo.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
interesting.
Let us know if you want us to cover the Phantasm movies.
Yeah, that'll be all first watches across
Yeah.
the board.
There we
That'd
go.
be a thing.
So he directed, produced, and wrote the script for this, based off a short story by Joe R. Lansdale.
Which we are also kicking around the
Okay.
idea
Kicking the
of.
idea of reading it out, checking it,
and-
and see how it
and
goes.
seeing-
Do a read through and then
So-
talk about it.
And this stars Ozzie Davis, Ella Joyce, and of course
Bruce
Bruce
Campbell.
Campbell.
BC.
In a very special role, like a very very special role in my opinion. One of my favorite things about this movie is the soundtrack by Brian Tyler. I love that soundtrack for this.
Oh, yeah. Very,
Yeah.
very reminiscent of.
Especially considering the limitations they had to work around. Not,
Yes. Oh,
I'm
not,
sure.
not
Especially
being
on
able-
budget too, because I mean, Brian Tyler is like a pretty big like he does the music for a lot of big films.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
had a budget of $1 million, which I think only had like a screen budget of like 500,000, and I imagine
Yeah.
500,000.
Well,
for
that's
things.
real low for a
Yeah.
movie, even
Yeah.
in 2002.
And
Like,
it pulled in 1.2 million when it did its like limited run. I'm assuming.
Woo.
Yeah.
Limited box office run.
not bad.
So
I mean, it made back its.
Right.
Budget?
It
Like,
did, it
didn't-
did.
Like, it's not technically a bomb.
Nope,
No.
that's a win.
No.
Well, I think to be considered a success, it has to be 1.5 times the budget.
Okay.
If
Sure.
I remember, if I
But-
remember reading. So I mean, it can
but
be
I
a
would
lot.
also, I would say that depends entirely upon what you're expecting to make out of it.
right.
Which
Yeah.
I'm going to promise you, they thought that was going to be 0.
Oh yeah, I'm
Listen.
sure the movie's made back more than enough now because I know like they like Scream Factory just put out like a special edition Blu-ray recently. McFarlane Toys did like a Bubba Ho Tep figure line.
Yeah, I have no doubt that they are happy with the progress this movie has
Oh, yeah.
been able
Yeah.
to achieve.
Cult classic movies will never usually rake in a ton of cash at once, but they
Right,
will
over
rake
time.
in cash
time.
consistently.
Yeah, I know like they did like a graphic novel sequel to this. They did a crossover with Evil Dead. So I mean, this property is I'm sure made its money,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
made more than what they expected.
for sure. I would.
So I think let's go ahead and talk about Bubba Ho Tep in the next segment. Let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join The Cult of Campbell.
Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
Tyler, our biggest advocate for the movie
Yes.
that we watched here tonight.
One of my all-time favorites.
Why don't you tell us about the very first time you watched it?
First time I watched this, it was really late on IFC, the channel IFC. I remember I watched it. It was like super late at night. I stumbled upon it, and I remember not getting it the first time. Like I think I might even miss like the beginning or something like that because I know it was just on TV. I watched it. I was mildly entertained. I was very young. I don't think I was 12 because this is what came out. I was 12. I think I was a little older than that. I would imagine.
Okay.
But I remember not getting it at first. And then a little while later, I rented it from a video store and I watched it. And then I got it. I think I might have missed some when I watched it on IFC.
Okay.
So I watched it in full. When I rented it, I was like, I loved it.
Blown away, huh?
Yeah. The soundtrack was like one of the things I picked up on originally. And then I had just started developing my appreciation for Bruce Campbell. So it all kind of clicked. It's like a perfect storm of just liking this movie. It's like ever since I've just like loved it. I got like the special edition DVD with Elvis costume. I had like an action figure of Bubba Ho Tep at one point.
Oh, you showed the love.
I love this movie.
Oh, no, that's great.
So, but I think I'm the only one that's seen it prior to this point, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
I think that is true. So.
Yep. So the rest of us, this was our first time watching.
As
This
well.
was our
Bubba Ho
first
Tep
memory.
virgins.
Yeah. Ian, how's your first memory playing out? What do you think?
You know what? It was really funny. Like I knew very little about the movie. Like I like to watch like YouTube videos and read articles that are like movie themed stuff.
Right.
Like especially horror stuff, like movie monsters that are lesser known,
Right.
stuff like that. And Bubba Ho Tep consistently pops up on lists about like cult movies and stuff. So I was vaguely familiar with it. I knew it was a Bruce Campbell movie. I knew he played Elvis in an old folks home, and there was a mummy. And I was like, that sounds fucking weird. And I was correct.
Yes.
It is a super bizarre movie. The editing, the themes, just the writing, everything about it is just very bizarre, but
Yes.
like it worked really well. It was really fucking
I
funny.
was very surprised that Ian and Ben had not seen it prior to this point. 'Cause I
Yeah.
I know you guys are car guys. I was,
Yeah,
I was,
it was
I was
one of
very
those-
surprised. Like,
Yeah, it was one of those movies I was always just kind of tangentially aware of and never really like had the opportunity or interest to go out of my way to
Right.
watch it. So it just never really lined up. Like I was never hanging out with people and somebody was like, let's watch Bubba Ho Tep. And it was not on Netflix or something that I saw for me to be like, oh, here we go.
I was very excited when I found out you guys hadn't watched it. Though. So I watch this on a yearly basis. I'd say, like, at least once a year, I watch Bubba Ho Tep because
Nice.
it's always on like some streaming service or something. So
Yeah.
I'll always like watch. I'd say since it came out, I've watched at least once a year. Since it came
Wow.
out.
Wow.
Nice.
Ben, how'd your first time go?
So it took me kind of a minute to settle into it. I knew even less of it than Ian did. I was aware that it was a movie called Bubba Ho Tep. It had Bruce Campbell in it, and there was a picture of him dressed as Elvis on the front. And that's about the grand sum total of my extent until Tyler started explaining to me. And it took me a while to kind of settle into it. But let's say, right about the time he got a boner, I was like, you know what? Me too. I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was, I was thoroughly surprised once I kind of found my way into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It does start out a little slow, with like the whole him laying in bed and the quick cuts and the flashes.
Yeah, I was having trouble kind of figuring out the tone of it.
right.
Yeah.
Because I, obviously you had said there's a mummy in it, and so I was watching it. I was like, well, how the fuck? Well, I don't. And then the bug started showing up, and I was like, nope, okay. And then I was like, all right, okay, I really
Got
enjoyed
settled
it.
in.
What about you, Eric?
What about
What did you
Eric?
think?
Well, that was so. I like Ben knew very little at all about this movie beyond the name and our star. Honestly, Tyler had told me a couple of times that he's Elvis Presley, and I kept forgetting that fact in it. I'm just like, Bubba Ho Tep, this is going to be interesting. And
Right.
so, the nursing home setting, and honestly, even really the mummy itself, I deliberately kept ignorant coming in. I wanted to be fully surprised by this movie, and I sure was. And the story kind of hit me in a way that, I wasn't expecting either. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to agree.
Yeah.
Towards the end there, especially when
yeah.
they allowed him to monologue a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really good movie, actually. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you, Tyler, for introducing us to it.
Yeah, definitely. That's one that
I was super
would
excited about it,
I would
yeah.
happily watch again.
Yeah, I was super
Yeah.
excited when I found out you guys hadn't watched it. I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Because like when we was making the list of like what we were gonna be releasing, I was like, Bubba Ho Tep has to be at the top of that list. Like, like I said, it almost became episode 1, but Evil Dead made more sense. So
Yeah.
I want it to at least be in that first set of episodes.
and
we
I
dropped.
think we're all grateful for that. That was
Absolutely.
yeah,
No,
that was
that
that was a fun piece of film to watch there.
Oh, yeah.
So why
All
don't
right,
we get
that's
right
the
into
end,
it,
guys. Thanks for listening.
There you go.
Yeah, so Bubba Ho Tep, it starts with he's just in bed.
Yeah, it's just it opens up.
Yeah,
with him
it just
in
opens
bed.
up and he's in bed, and like this nursing home just has these long, poorly lit hallways. Like the set design is very good at
Oh, it
being
looks
this
looks
is
miserable.
bleak. This place sucks.
And it was actually
yeah.
filmed in a abandoned veterans retirement home.
Oh,
Is that right?
That makes
Yes.
sense.
Hopefully, it didn't look like that
Right,
until
so you're
after
like-
it was abandoned.
Well, you're like, God, I hope they dressed that set up.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was
But-
super dingy.
Yeah, that place fucking bummed me out, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
the point.
It did. Like
obviously.
as soon
Yeah.
as you see that movie, as soon as the movie opens, you start seeing that hallway and all that stuff. Like you're instantly just like kind of like it's just so drab. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You're just like, bleh.
Although the lady in the iron lung stood out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah. Just
Oh, actually,
Get her
the
a
movie
goddamn closet, will you?
opened with 2 definitions.
Oh yeah.
Technically, before
right.
it was the definition of Hotep, which I didn't quite get, but it was like
It's like an Egyptian royal like surname.
It's a
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then Bubba, which is just like
Redneck.
a nickname for a redneck.
a trailer park resident.
Yeah, a trailer park resident. And then we see the dingy hallways, and then we meet Elvis, played by our beloved Bruce, and he's laying in a shared room. He's laying in his not shared bed, but shared room with his roommate.
Who is just
Bull.
sounded
Yeah,
like a
Yeah, poor
sack of-
bastard. He just
It's the
coughing
guy-
up a lung.
I'm trying to find the guy's name, but it's the guy that plays Private Ryan.
Oh yeah, old
the
Private
the
Ryan.
old Private Ryan at the
Yeah.
end of
when he's
Saving
just
Private
lamenting in the graveyard.
Ryan. Yes.
Did I do a good job? Did I live a good life?
The face that the younger
Yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
morphs into.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just got like triple lung cancer and he's only got half a lung. Like
Yeah, he's just
dude's-
coughing it all the way up. And
And Elvis just kind of like
yeah, Elvis
Looks
just
on.
starts monologuing. He has his narration that pops up throughout the movie. His inner monologue is very funny and very bleak.
Harrison
And-
Young is his name.
Oh, Harrison Young.
Harrison Young.
But we learn very quickly that he has a lump on his pecker. It ends up being much more relevant to the plot than
you would believe.
yeah.
Or
Well, I don't know
hope
that
for.
well, but
well,
in
it comes up more.
oh, it definitely comes
a lot,
up.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
certainly tied it
We're
into
not
his
there yet.
character.
Yeah. Yep. He focuses quite a bit on his impotence too. He
Yeah,
can't get
oh,
it
yeah.
out. 20 years since I've had a boner.
Yeah.
So
Like I think it's like it is a pretty big driving piece for his character though. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of that loss of like I guess spirit. You know, he
Well,
doesn't
the
have-
emasculation.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
emasculation,
Emasculation,
which is like is a
depowering.
big part of the
Yeah.
of his character arc. He's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
emasculated, and
And I liked the way that they filmed this sequence too, because it just was very cyclical.
wild, yeah.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
cyclical.
yeah.
you're seeing this like
Footage playing in
rotation
fast.
of like a day, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
Just
sped
over
up
and over again.
footage of a janitor and a nurse
Yeah.
coming in and out, and people
And-
going up and down the hallway.
Yeah, and it led me to believe at least they were hinting at some demencia there.
that's what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that would fit the theme. This movie's definitely about like aging, like
Yes.
with no
absolutely.
subtlety at all.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
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 Kind of like the way we treat our elderly too. Like, that's
Right,
a big
yeah.
Part of it.
And so pretty much right away, Bull dies.
Yep.
Yep. Dice
Poor bastard.
screaming, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
Dies loud.
Dies loudly.
It's more like a coughing, wheezing, and then
Yeah, he has like
Well,
a-
I guess
and
you're
then
right.
has
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
not really
fit.
like horrified screams.
Yep.
no.
Yeah.
Which they miss on a huge opportunity when they show the younger picture of Bull later. It should have been a picture of Matt Damon. I would have loved for,
hilarious.
That would have
for
been
Bruce,
the best gag.
yeah,
Oh
for
my God.
Elvis to
Fucking
look at that
hilarious.
picture and have been Matt Damon, just to
I-
tie it into the greater.
I
Saving
I mean, he
Private
ended up
Ryan
with a
universe.
Purple Heart. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't have been a terrible stretch
They could be
to
like hinting, like
blend
yeah.
those.
Well, so the thing is, though, is you never actually see Private Ryan injured,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
he got
Yeah.
sent home. So
Oh, I
unless,
suppose you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't quite.
Should have
but-
some rewrites.
but I have no doubt. We should definitely change Saving Private Ryan to match Bubba Ho Tep.
They
That was
should,
it.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have no doubt there was
Spielberg
a
missed an
discussion.
opportunity here.
I'm sure there was a discussion about putting Matt Damon's face in there.
Think we
Oh,
can get the
yeah,
rights?
that would-
Yeah,
Probably not, but we could try.
yeah.
No, so there's this running non sequitur kind of gag where every time somebody dies, we see like the next day there's just two funeral
Two
home
goofballs,
workers
yeah.
pulling them out and
Yeah.
putting them in the hearse. And
Well,
they're-
one's a
they're always
goofball,
this-
the other one's just a straight dick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And there's always just something weird happening, talking about like life and death. At one point, they drop a body.
Yeah.
Like
Some
I
of the
don't.
bushes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
lamenting about how bad the old people smell.
Right.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like I'm probably not going to keep bringing that up because it's never relevant.
Sure.
To the plot,
It
but
is. It isn't.
Yeah.
really.
just-
Hey, but every
that's
time
a-
somebody dies, they show
yeah,
these
it
two
cuts to
jackasses
them having a
carting them
weird
out.
conversation or fucking something up.
I remember the first time I watched this movie, or not maybe not the first time, but one of the earlier times I watched it. I remember at the end, spoiler alert, when we start to see Elvis kind of fading out. I remember like thinking like, don't cut to those fucking doofuses.
Oh my
Do you know?
god.
Oh,
Because
man.
I remember like say it fades to black, and I was like, if it ruined the whole movie. If they would have cut to those fucking
gosh.
jackasses carrying Elvis and JFK's bodies around, it would have ruined the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I
Well-
watched that, just being like, "Don't fucking do it! Don't do it!" And luckily they didn't. But
Yeah, that definitely would have been a sour bite to finish
Yeah.
the meal.
Yes.
Although I
Yeah.
have some thoughts on, and it might actually lead to why I don't think they did do that as a gag or whatever. But they've taken away the ones that kind of got desold. We find out later. Sorry,
well,
spoiler
they
alert
took
again.
away
But
the one guy who didn't get desold.
oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
We took
Yeah.
Bull.
That's true. So
Yeah, and Kemosabe.
but I think the point kind of still stands is
yeah,
they're kind of a representation of what the typical person's view of a nursing home is. Anyway,
Oh,
very
yeah.
dismissive.
yeah, there's a lot of
very,
that.
like-
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
everyone, if they're not an elderly person in this nursing home,
Is a dick.
is a
Oh,
dick
yeah.
and just thinks these people
Yeah.
are like just trash
yeah.
and
Yeah.
children that
Very
are just
bleak.
a nuisance.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
So Bull dies.
Yeah, so Bull dies, and then his hot daughter shows up and starts going
Yes.
through his shit,
Oh my gosh.
and
Throws away his fucking purple
Yeah,
heart.
she throws away some pictures in his purple heart.
And like she doesn't give a shit. Like
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Like they established Bull has been there for like 3 years, and this is
And,
this is
yeah.
only the second time she's been there. Aside from when she dated
First
Dr.
time when
Mom.
she dropped him off. And so he asks for the purple heart and at least one of the pictures, and she
a
gives
box
it
of
to him.
candies.
Yeah, as a box. Of
So I
candies.
think that was the first scene where I really started to like enjoy the film is when he was just like he was mighty proud of that.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, he
Right.
Just doesn't seem right, and then
he's
he's
trying to give her shit.
He does-
and
yeah,
she
and
doesn't even care that he's giving her shit.
Yep.
And then he starts ruminating on like, is that how my daughter thinks of me? Like,
Yeah.
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 So I actually really enjoyed that he didn't let it go without
Right, yeah.
like he didn't like yell at her and kind of like
Right,
make her feel like a piece of shit, but he addressed
yeah.
it.
It was a good way to endear us to him. When
Yeah.
our introduction was him just talking about his dick.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And they also kind of let on, him and Bull weren't even like friends.
Yeah.
Right.
He just knows it's disrespectful to throw away.
Yeah, he just
Right.
doesn't want somebody. He doesn't want somebody's memory to fade into nothing. Like
Yes,
like
that's a
his
big
is
part-
going
that's a
to.
big-
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that's kind of brought up in the first little scene with the jackass funeral guys.
Yeah.
When they're like putting the body, Bull's body in there, like they make a comment like, think of it, everything he did and this and his legacy,
legacy,
is done.
yeah.
And throw the body on the back of the
Yeah.
truck and they drive off.
Yep.
But yeah, then we meet the nurse. We've seen another nurse, but we actually meet this character.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. She doesn't have a name.
Nope.
She's just the nurse.
The nurse.
So she comes in and she calls him Sebastian Half, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Sebastian Half. And that's where we learn that he is possibly not Elvis, but an Elvis Presley impersonator.
Yeah.
with
Right.
brain damage.
Right.
Yeah,
And
she drops some exposition.
Yep, we get some exposition. We find out that Sebastian Haff is an Elvis Presley impersonator who has some brain damage, so now he thinks he's Elvis Presley.
Yeah, he fell off the fell off a stage.
Oh
with
yeah.
glaucoma, yeah.
Fell off the stage,
Then you
broke
get
his hip.
Then you get counter exposition.
Yep, counter exposition,
Which is
where
always interesting.
Elvis is like, no, I'm not Sebastian Haff. I'm
I'm
Elvis
a-
Presley playing Sebastian Haff.
I'm a
playing
dude
Elvis
playing a
Presley.
dude disguised as another dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because what Elvis claims happened is he wanted out of the life. He was addicted to drugs and just not having a good time. He had his entourage that they would wait on him hand and foot, but it was because he was paying their shit. So he found the perfect impersonator and he switched lives with him in secret. So he could just kind of have fun being Elvis, but with none of the responsibility
Yeah, you
and
could just run
fame.
around being
Yep.
the impersonator instead.
Yep.
You know what I wish they would have done though? I wish there would have been a short scene in there. Would have been absolutely hysterical. Is I would have appreciated a scene of him listening to people critiquing his performance as an Elvis impersonator.
That would have been pretty
It's like,
funny.
it's like that was really good. You're one of the best I've ever seen. But I actually went and saw Elvis, and this is one
He
of the
didn't
things.
quite do this. Yeah. That would have been funny.
Just like Charles Chaplin coming in second for a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest.
Gosh, you
Yeah,
told me
yeah.
about that.
Yep.
That's
So,
Yeah, I
so
love that
it would have been a
story.
nice nod to reality, but whatever.
But yeah, so part of the contract with Sebastian Haff is that if Elvis decides he wants the life back, they have to switch. And he has one copy of the contract, and he loses it in a tragic
Lose it in a
barbecue accident.
tragic meth
Barbecue
fire.
accident. Yeah, a barbecue accident. Just,
Yeah, like what was it? Like two fucking campers
Oh my
go up and
gosh.
flip.
I imagine that's where a large part of their budget went.
I
For this-
think so,
for this
because they
set piece.
filled up a very widely framed screen.
Yeah,
That was
there's
one
like
of
3
my
or 4
favorite
trailers that
fires.
explode.
Yeah, so he's having a barbecue in front of his trailer, but unbeknownst to him, the trailer next to him is a meth lab, and so like
yeah.
Yeah,
they explode.
because the fire kept getting bigger.
Yeah, I just
And he's just over there.
And not like creeping up the side. It was like whoosh whoosh. Boom.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just kept like exploding bigger. That was probably my favorite scene.
and he's
He
just in the
left the fire
foreground, just like
unattended.
yeah, he's just
Yeah.
what the hell? Oh my god, what's up?
Left his barbecue.
That was all done
unattended.
in one take.
Oh,
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
they
Yeah.
didn't have the budget for multiple.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's
I
no
guarantee you, they were like,
way.
if we fuck this up, this scene is not in the movie.
Yeah.
Just stay in character.
Yeah. We're just going to reference a tragic barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
Right.
I like too when he first goes into the meets Sebastian Haff. Sebastian Haff is eating a pie or whatever, and like Elvis walks in and like Sebastian just like you can see in his eyes like
My
this
liege.
God has just entered the room.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Kisses
the
his
music
ring.
comes up and you hear like that really nice ambience and like he
Right.
just like comes to his knee.
They
and
do everything for the exception of choir music.
basically
Yep,
yeah.
Right. Right.
And then he holds out his rings and Sebastian kisses them.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because they could have cast a different actor,
Right, right.
Because that still would have been a pretty good gag. Is like he doesn't
Yeah.
look anything like
Right,
him, and they
that
switch.
would've been
But
funny.
I do still
Yeah.
appreciate that it was like Bruce Campbell just out of character, like all awestruck.
Yep.
Like
Well,
I
he was
like-
all struck at his own greatness.
I know.
We
As you would
agree.
be if you're Bruce Campbell.
I imagine
And
that's
then Elvis was just
That's
like,
a lot of Bruce Campbell wake you up in the morning, look in the mirror, and
just look in the mirror like, wow, Bruce
I am the
Campbell.
king.
Wow,
Like,
good job, Bruce.
Be an amazing
Good job
feeling.
being Bruce.
I like the
Bruce.
gag we talked about too, the pie gag that worked out. Like we
Yeah.
were all because
Oh.
Sebastian Haff's eating a pie. He has
His
pie on
breakfast
face.
of champions.
Yeah,
pie and vodka.
He's like a blueberry pie and vodka.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he
Best way to make.
he has
up.
pie. He kisses the
Fuck.
ring. We were all like, oh, what
Yeah,
you
he
making
has
with
a little
the
bit of
off?
pie on the corner of his mouth.
A little bit. He had
Yeah,
half
and I'm
one.
like, hey, man,
He
wipe
could
that
feed a
off.
whole Ethiopian village off what was hanging off the side of those lips.
But then when he exits the room, we see there's 2 Elvises in there. Then we see one Elvis leave and joins the posse, and they ride off. But as he comes out, we
clean.
see him wipe pie off the side of his mouth. So that's the implication that
you
they've
clever
swapped.
dogs.
It
And
was.
then
it worked
he
out
goes to
well.
open his own door, and they're like, "Oh
Yes,
no,
yeah.
we'll get that." Yeah,
No, that was
Although,
very good.
if anybody ever seen those final like videos of Elvis, it's perfectly logical that he went and visited somebody who's like, "You gonna eat that pie?"
Well, Sebastian Haff likes pie.
yeah.
So that-
I guarantee you, so did
He's
Elvis.
got to do a good impersonation. So Yeah, so we get this exposition dump of how he's Sebastian Half, but he's also Elvis Presley playing Sebastian Half, playing Elvis Presley. Like,
But then you also see too that after the contract is destroyed, like he really doesn't even care. Like
No, he kind of feels free. Almost.
they do that really
Yeah.
that really interesting shot where it's like 2 frames. Like the
Right.
top portion of the screen is him laying in bed talking to the nurse and Bull's daughter,
And they're not
then the
even
lower
acting, right?
half,
Yeah.
the lower half is this like wide shot of him just cruising along an open desert highway in his convertible, and it was a really nice. Like I assume it was like you're seeing him.
yeah, because he said he never went
Grounded.
back and tried to convince anybody.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
like,
he
yeah,
just-
I didn't even bother. I was just, I feel
Yeah,
straight.
you're like, but what about your daughter who like? So what if Sebastian was morally questionable and he's like, hey, Elvis's daughter's pretty hot.
Oh my gosh.
That's a prequel.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I was questioning just the idea of him leaving his daughter and stuff. I think that's part of his character too. It's like you see a lot of regret.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense in the
Yeah.
film. I'm just like, the whole time he's like, I wonder if my daughter would love me. I'm like, well, that depends on if you,
Yeah, I
if
hope
they're
your
not,
daughter
you tried to
stayed
touch her or
safe.
not. I would
Yeah.
say,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like she might have some really bad feelings about
She
you,
may.
mate.
He
Yeah.
did not take much time to get to know the guy. He looked him up. And
Yeah, he
met
just
him
showed up and met him on the spot and was
Yeah.
like, boom, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway,
yeah,
now that we've
so-
divided off that topic,
Yeah, so we got our exposition dump, and then that night we see just the bitchest of characters.
Oh,
This
yeah.
old
Sneaky
lady
old woman.
walking through, and she walks up to this poor old lady who's just in the hall in an iron lung.
yeah, which like get that bitch a closet or something.
Right, yeah.
They left her there completely unattended.
Push her in front of a window at least. I mean, there are no fucking windows
Not
in the
in those
hallway. But
hallways.
jeez.
Was there even an outlet that fucking thing was plugged into?
Who knows? Just a fucking noisy generator, bro.
Just right outside of somebody's room.
Yeah.
But yeah,
in the
so
hallway. Just
the
chill in the hallway.
bitch lady walks up
Unattended.
to her, smiles at her, and then just takes her glasses
Steals
straight
her
off
fucking
her face.
glasses.
The ladies in the iron lung is like, what? No. Oh, no.
Yeah, she just looks so bummed.
Now she can't even look at the ceiling. That
Oh,
spot on the ceiling
yeah.
that finally started to look like a face that
Yeah.
she was probably starting to make friends
Oh,
with. He went
Lord.
away now. It's just a big blur.
Sad.
Her last hope
This
gone.
movie's so bleak.
It is.
Oh,
It's
it
a very
is.
bleak
Very
movie.
bleak.
Then
But,
she
yeah.
goes down the hallway and she steals somebody's chocolates.
Yep,
Yeah,
steal
there's just
somebody's
candy
chocolates.
left out.
Yep. And
Which they
then-
treat candy like fine alcohol in that place.
Yeah.
Oh, and the food that
It's our
we
only
saw, I
source
don't
of
blame
joy.
him.
I know,
Yeah,
but I really after watching this movie, like, I always crave like a tin of chocolates.
I
know.
know. Yeah,
Somebody
Yeah.
get me a
I
tin
really
of
want some
chocolates. I want a
Right.
tin of
candy right
chocolates.
now.
You go into a nursing home, I will bring it.
yes, yes.
But yeah, so she steals some chocolates and she makes it back to her room. And then we see a giant scarab beetle skittering
Yes.
around. And there's
Right.
like this horror scene. I wouldn't call it scary, but it's played as a horror scene.
It is most definitely.
Yeah,
For sure.
Where this bug is crawling around, it gets under the sheets, bites her, she falls out of bed. A lot of old
out.
people fall in this movie without injuring themselves
Yeah, I guess
realistically.
in real life, if she
Yeah.
That is
fell,
actually the least realistic thing in this movie.
I would
Yeah.
have to agree. Ben and I
This
have both
entire-
worked in an ER.
yeah,
and
having worked
a
in
good
ERs, we can tell you that
25% of our patients overnight are elderly people who have fallen down.
right.
That's
so sans
really
the
depressing.
So sans the mummy. The
Yeah.
fact that they don't
Just
actually
the
hurt
fact that
themselves
they
falling
can't,
over.
that they can get back up is.
I don't know. I'm more likely to believe in Egyptian mummy curses.
Listen, our grandfather Ian sat down on a bucket in the basement
Yep.
to change out a filter, and just couldn't get back up off of that bucket, and ended up crawling along the floor slowly for a couple of hours until he could get to the wall to help himself back up. The fact that these people take these falls and
hop
just
right back
get up
up.
and fight and run.
Well, I don't think we ever see her get back up though. Because
I think you're right.
Because
Yeah.
she
grabs what,
well,
the fireplace poker? Is
her
that-
cane.
Yeah,
she takes
yeah,
her
yeah.
cane. She beats
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
And she
scarab.
starts trying to beat the scarab beetle.
And then we get the first kind of shot of Bubba Ho Tep.
Yeah, we get like a
remember.
silhouette.
Yeah.
and
and
we
then
hear
she's
her
our first
scream,
victim.
and cuts
Well,
to the next day.
She's our first victim of the mummy. She's our second body on the kill count.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Full.
And then we get our second shot of the jackasses and her. So like talk about how bad she smells and spray her corpse down or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Just
And that's you know why she smelled and the other one didn't? Because she was just a sack of shit from the start.
And, well, also too, forgetting is like when she's getting killed. Elvis sees her like in the hallway, like he sees like it was a flash
Oh
of
yeah,
her
but he's
being-
not quite sure.
Yeah, he's
if
not
it
sure.
was
He's
real
really
or
disoriented.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that bitch dies, and then the next
thief.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next, I believe before the bug attacks Elvis, we meet Kemosabe, right? Or was that after? Doesn't really matter.
I can't remember.
We've met
At some
him.
point,
I think it's
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, at
after.
some point we meet a guy named Kemosabe, and it's implied that he might be. Oh yeah, that is later because that's
Yeah.
after. Doesn't matter. So the bug
first we
attacks
meet-
Elvis.
We meet before the bug attacks, and we meet him and JFK.
Yeah,
Or
we
him
meet
and Ozzy.
we
yeah.
meet President
We get-
Kennedy.
Yeah, we get
Yeah.
Ozzy Davis's
Kennedy.
introduction.
Yep, Ozzy Davis, and if you don't know, he is an African American actor, and he is playing JFK, who
John
we find
F.
out, according to him, during the assassination attempt, it failed, or it didn't kill him, and then they, what did they do?
To hide him,
They took his brain out,
took
and
his
it's
brain
just a
and
bag
replaced
of
with
sand,
sandbag,
and then
yeah.
they dyed his skin so he's black.
and put him in a nursing home in East Texas.
Yeah, put him in a nursing home.
So he's President John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got
And then
Elvis
we find
and
out
John
we
F.
find
Kennedy
out
in the
later there's
same-
some credence to it. You know, he's got this, he
we
finds
see,
a
we do see
scar.
some compelling evidence.
and it's what was nice about it is he wasn't like crazy insistent. He was just like, nope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm
yeah,
just,
he's just
I'm
like,
JFK.
no, I am.
Yeah, like
That's
even
what
like
happened.
Yep.
Sebastian still calls him by his I guess his government name, Jack.
Right.
Yep.
And he responds to that, but he just adamant that I'm really John F.
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't go on like any crazy rants.
No,
really.
he's like, I understand why you don't believe me, but
But
I am.
I'm JFK.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So then that night, the scarab beetle comes to attack Elvis.
Yes.
But he's not having it.
Nope.
He walks
Don't
to
fuck
the
with the
bathroom by himself.
Right. He decided
Oh,
that
yeah.
tonight was the night he was not going to piss
Tonight
in the
he's
bed.
not
I
pissing in
feel
bed.
like a big turning point the movie at the very beginning is when Bull dies.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah.
kind of like
And-
hit in his head.
He
I
has
think it
that
clicked something,
realization.
like-
He's
and
like,
then
wow, I'm
that's
just going
my
to be
outcome,
forgotten here.
Yeah,
Like,
seeing that what happens, after
Right,
he dies
yeah.
and the
So
dismissal.
I don't want my daughter to show up and throw my shit away.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
So one of the big turning points is him getting up to go piss. That's
Yeah,
like a
that-
big triumphant
he's
moment
like,
for
I'm
him.
getting
It was
up to
definitely
piss.
kind of his call to adventure
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, because he just goes, not tonight. Tonight's not the night.
Yep.
Right.
And he gets on his walker, goes piss, and then he gets attacked by the scarab beetle. And we have this extended sequence where it's skittering around, and then we find out it can fly.
Yep.
And then he ends up catching it in the bedpan.
Right.
But then he just takes the bedpan off the wall, like he didn't.
Yeah, like I don't
he
understand.
did.
that.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if he thought he used the other side of it, like and had
Maybe.
smashed it.
Maybe, yeah.
I almost wonder that might be what they were implying. Otherwise, he's just like,
No, because he started looking around because I think he thought because he didn't hear it that he hadn't.
maybe.
Oh yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
okay.
So
yeah.
he gets back out.
It fooled him.
Oh, how'd he kill it? I can't remember.
A fork and
takes
a
fork
a
and
Yeah.
fork and a heating lamp.
Oh, that was a good gag. He sees the fork early in the fight on his food tray, and he rolls over and he grabs it. He rolls back over and he grabs the spoon. And he's like, "Fuck."
that was funny.
That was a good gag. But then he finally gets the fork. He impales the bug, and the like safety screen of his space heater popped off. So he roasts the bug on the fucking space heater.
Oh,
and
well,
the whole
Tells it
time,
never.
yeah, the whole time he
fuck
just
with the
thinks
king.
it's a fucking cockroach.
Right.
He keeps calling it big bitch cockroach.
Yeah. I love it. After he kills it, he goes in the hallway and he starts yelling about how this place is a bug problem.
I think you got too many bugs in here.
Anybody out here?
Yeah.
What they
Bug
have
problem
is
in
a
this
fork
place.
problem. Those forks are intense.
Those are
Yeah,
sharp
they're
ass
like
forks.
good.
They're not just. They're
Lord.
they're like something you serve ham with.
Right.
Yeah, they're like
Two-pronged,
serving
super
forks,
sharp.
yeah.
Don't give that to people to use for a dinner.
Well, that place clearly doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
about
they
those
got
people.
they got a lady in an iron lung in the hallway. They're not sweating. They're not
Yeah.
sweating the cutlery.
Oh yeah. So
So was it? So after this,
he finds JFK on the floor. I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. JFK is on the floor.
he
'cause-
hears like the mummy mumbling stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
and he walks
And-
down a hallway and finds JFK.
yeah. He because wasn't Bubba trying to suck his soul out of his butt or
Yep.
something?
Yep. Trying to suck the soul
Which
of his
isn't
asshole.
even necessary.
No,
we
we find
We
out
find
later,
out
it's
other
so
orifices
weird.
were
yeah,
just
any large
fine.
orifice.
It's just a weird decision that this Bubba Ho Tep has made. But
but Elvis saves him.
I love when you go into JFK's room, because he goes in the JFK's room the first time. There's like just mug shots of Jack Ruby
And fucking Lee Harvey Oswald.
there's a model diorama of that
the
day in
fucking-
Texas.
yeah.
And,
There's a picture of his wife.
picture of his wife, and like his room is like very
Very
presidential. Like,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, he has a
themed.
nice room.
Yeah,
I love that.
He's clearly got money.
He doesn't
Yes.
have to share a shitty bed with
No.
fucking
No,
Bull.
he's
It's
got
quite-
carpet and everything.
Quite the contrast to Elvis's
Yeah.
room. Yeah.
So he saves Jack, well, JFK.
JFK.
And
That's where we see the
President
scar
Kennedy?
first time.
yeah. Oh yeah, he sees the scar.
Yeah,
and
the
he's
scar
like,
on the
oh,
back
shit.
of his
On the back of his head.
Implying that it might be true. And then that's, I believe, when JFK decides to start looping him in on the mummy shit.
Shortly after that, it's like I think so he gets him up, and then
He's explaining what's going on. They read that Book of Souls.
well, not yet, is it?
Oh,
Because
no.
that's later on. Like I think after this, the nurses come, like just take him to bed or something like that. Because it's later on when he comes to Elvis, they read the book.
That's right.
Yeah, because they're like scolding them like children.
Yeah, I think he gets gets help for Jack because he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
because he's explained to the
Oh,
the head of the nursing home about these big bitch bugs you got around
Yeah.
here and all this.
Yeah, so he just goes to bed.
Which
after
whole
that.
time, like he's like, the guy's like, what kind of bugs are they? I'm thinking, why don't you just go show him the bug? Like,
Oh, right.
Right.
Me too.
You've
Right
got
to
it
the bug,
on
yeah.
this massive
it
fork.
didn't evaporate. I don't think.
Right.
Right.
But then it's later after that. Like the next day, we meet Kemosabe. Then we
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we
that's
get
right.
the
They're at
scene
lunch.
where the nurse returns to do that thing.
Yes.
Oh, that little thing.
Oh, yeah. So she comes back to pop the giant growth pimple on his wiener.
Yes.
And
rubbing
he's-
ointment on it.
Yeah.
Rubs
And
ointment on
he gets a boner.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
find
whoops.
out.
They said it was because he was thinking about something that mattered.
Yes, he's finally. He's finally getting some life back into him. You know?
I haven't had a boner like that in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
Then he starts flirting with her. He's like,
Yeah.
why don't you give it a tug?
Yeah,
She-
he
she
turns the
seems
charm
impressed.
on, I guess.
And she's
Yeah.
not really all that against it either.
No.
Miss the hell.
She's
Yeah.
like, you silly
You oughta
old
be,
thing. I'm
you
like,
oughta
silly
be
old thing.
ashamed of yourself.
He tells her to tug on it. But yeah, he's getting a little life back. You can tell because
Still has some lead. Still has some lead left in his pencil.
Yeah, he's very pleased. Like I love that. Like after she leaves, and like he kind of lays back, throws his arms behind his head, and he just kind of like peeks down at it.
Takes
like,
another-
this.
takes
another look.
He's like,
Well, it's the first
Yeah,
time it's
yes.
looking back at him. So
yeah,
they can finally make eye contact.
How you
very-
doing, old
very
buddy?
Proud.
So yeah, that night. Well, we got lunch. We met Kemosabe, and he has 2 plastic pistols and wears the Lone Ranger mask.
Yeah, and
Right.
he talks
And-
about how like they used to be like poker buddies, and
Yeah.
now he doesn't even know who he is. He can get that more of that dementia
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
context on there. But another sad thing that happens in nursing homes, I assume.
Yeah.
People forgetting who they are.
But then that night we get, I guess, the exposition dump about the mummy.
Yeah,
sort of.
Jack. We see like Elvis having like some weird, his little
It's
looping
weird
flash
flashes.
things.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know,
Visions.
JFK is like right in his face. Like
They go to the bathroom.
they go to the bathroom and we get he shows him that there's some graffiti on the bathroom stall
And it's
the
in
visitor's
hieroglyphics.
bathroom. Hieroglyphics. And what is it like? The
He
Pharaoh
translate-
gobbles.
Gobbles
Donkey
donkey
goobers or
goobers, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Pharaoh gobbles donkey
then
goobers.
Cleopatra does the nasty.
And it was,
Just shit talking pharaohs.
oh, and what did so that scene kind of sparked a little bit of research on our part. What did we look into as far as hieroglyphics? Who
Oh
found-
yeah, I didn't look it up, but I actually
Oh, you
I remember watching some stuff on ancient Egypt, and they actually had found wall carvings in hieroglyphics that was like God, what was her name? I think it was Nefertiti, the queen. It was like
Yeah.
Nefertiti is like a hermaphrodite.
Oh my god.
It's like pictures, like graffiti art of her getting like bent over the wall and stuff. And
Just like
being-
actual stuff you'd find in a
And
modern
that means
stall.
somebody took the time. They hated her enough to take the time to carve that into a fucking
Yeah.
wall.
Well, I mean, in their
stone
defense,
wall.
they were probably slaves. So yeah, I'm sure they've had a lot of hate for her ass.
Yeah.
And you've seen where people will put graffiti. Like a lot of work goes into some of these messages, no matter how
That's
stupid
true.
they are.
Yeah, you ever see graffiti on the like underside of a bridge, and you're like, how in
did you
the
even get up
actual
there?
fuck did you get to
Yeah.
that spot? Like,
Oh yeah. And some of the stuff you see on the sides of trains is really intricate.
Yeah.
So we find that the Egyptians and the mummy are really not so far from ourselves.
Yes. So so we find out that Bubba Ho Tep is like cursed or something.
I don't think they find it out yet. They're
I think I was peeing in the bathroom.
Well,
during
they
this
go.
scene.
So they go back, and they're reading from the book.
They're talking about the Egyptian soul suckers. They don't know
Oh, yeah.
why he's there or anything yet. They're
But,
just-
And
but
then
they
that's
really
when
drive
they
home
s-
that he sucks the soul out of his butt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how he does it.
And that's
And
where
then
they
cut
see him in the
Kemosabe.
hallway.
Yeah, it cuts
Yeah.
to Kemosabe's room.
Oh, and
you
he's
see
like,
that-
don't go out in the hallway. And Elvis is like, I don't believe this shit. Like, yeah.
And part of that, we saw Kemosabe's room. Bubba Ho Tep has an elderly person on the ground getting ready to suck the soul out of him. And Kemosabe wakes up and pulls his pistols out.
Oh, yeah.
His
His
cap guns.
His cap guns.
pistols.
And
Starts
then,
shooting Asshole.
and then after the exposition dump in JFK's room, Elvis steps out in the hallway. And that's where we get the first
Yep. We
big
see
glimpse of Bubba Ho Tep.
Bubba Ho Tep. We get our proper look. Bubba Ho Tep slowly walking down the wall, silhouetted. Pretty good costume too. Like,
Yeah, not
they
bad,
got
bad.
good
Their-
practical
yeah,
effects
their
for the
costume
mummy.
was
It's a very
Yeah.
unique looking mummy because he's like,
Yeah.
it's a mummy, but he's wearing
He's wearing cowboy boots
outfit.
and a hat. Yeah, he's dressed up like cowboy. And then he stops and he makes eye contact with Elvis, and then we get more weird flashes.
Elvis gets a
Yes.
psychic flash from
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
like,
He
transfers
transfers
a
some of
bunch
the
of
mummy's memory.
exposition to him.
And I actually think I have my own theory as to why, because Elvis even asked, like, why the hell did I even get that flash?
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
even answer it.
Actually, I think they did.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
So they go out of their way to say like names are very important,
Uh-huh.
and through this entire thing, Elvis actually names him,
Oh, he does. He's calling him Bubba Ho Tep the
and they
whole
said he was
time.
buried without his name. So I'm wondering if the fact that Elvis named him that connected him to him.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh,
I like
that's
that.
very cool. Wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why they went out of their way to mention that he was buried with no name, and names were very important to them.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
And then I kind of dawned on me that through the whole thing that it was Elvis calling him Bubba Ho Tep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I wonder if the act of naming him
Yeah.
linked them together.
Oh, cool. I like
So
that.
Bubba
Very
Ho Tep
cool.
just like looks away.
Yeah. Well, we get during the flashes, we see what happened. This guy
Yeah, we
is
get
getting
glimpses.
like because the Egyptian like burial process is really famous, where they like remove the organs
Right.
and stuff after you die.
Yes.
But they're doing it to this guy, and he's not dead.
Yes. So we're assumed to believe he's a bad dude.
Yeah, bad enough to have that shit done to him. So-
Well, yeah, he keeps like trying to suck on people's assholes.
Yeah.
What a fucking
Like,
weirdo.
like,
what-
hey,
that's
Phil, we can't
You
have you
asked
around here anymore.
first.
Yeah, like
You've got to stop this.
Yeah.
He's
So,
one of the-
like we
They're
caught.
evil's
sleeping.
worst.
It's not okay.
That was
Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah.
Pat. Like no.
You sucked my Mima's butthole.
Putting you in the ground. We've had enough.
The grandkids saw it.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Oh,
so,
Jesus, not the livestock.
So anywho, Bubba Ho Tep continues walking down the hall, and he ghost walks through the door, or through the wall. Yeah.
Kemosabe.
Oh yeah,
Before,
before
marching down the
yeah,
hallway with his cap guns. just popping on him.
shooting his cat
Asshole,
guns,
Asshole.
asshole, and then he drops dead of a heart attack.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like how he has a heart attack, but I like how they did it where it's like he got shot.
They framed it like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
old timey actor
Yeah.
gets shot at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
that
clutches his
that
chest
old spaghetti western, you
Yeah.
know, like you gotta make partner kind of thing. Like
and then collapses. That was definitely a deliberate choice that I appreciate.
yeah.
That was-
And then we
yeah.
see Bubba Ho Tep teleport through the door and just
Yep.
goes off.
Walks through the wall like a ghost. And
but
he's gone.
But we find out that Kemosabe died with his
Yes.
soul intact.
Yes,
Correct.
He died of heart failure. Soul's
Yep.
intact. He went out with both guns blazing, as they say.
Butthole was unlipped.
Yep.
Unlit.
They JFK and Elvis get scolded by the staff, but
Yep.
they don't. They decide not to tell him what actually happened. You know. 'cause,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they figure they
They
won't
decide
believe
to
him
lie.
anyway.
No,
Yeah.
they're. I'm sure, like even, and there's no circumstance where they would have. They'd be like, "Oh, these are
Right.
the ravings
Right,
of
yeah.
two delusional old
Too
men."
demented. Yeah.
Right.
And then we see the two douchebags accidentally drop his fucking body.
I did not like that. They dropped
Into the-
Kemosabe's body, and
Oh
like,
yeah, into the.
I thought that was kind of disrespectful for the character. The character went out in a very like honorable way, and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that might have been a point.
It could have, it could have been because they do. It's kind of like
They definitely
played as a joke. It's an actual person that's died,
Right,
So
yeah.
it does kind of fit with the theme of
And
how
especially
people view the old elderly.
Yeah, and it allows Elvis to kind of reflect because he says like he went out guns blazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Sort of. He at least stayed true to who he was.
yeah, I guess you could say that he went out believing that he was going out guns blazing.
Yeah.
He certainly
good
did.
point.
Oh, no.
Now, shortly after that, I believe we got the scene where the nurse was outside smoking, and we thought she was done.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
this scene,
right, she was the next.
the minute she's like, "Just let me finish my cigarette," I'm like, "And bitch is toast."
Yep. Yeah, because the director of the I almost said funeral home, which it kind of is. The
I guess,
director of
yeah.
the nursing home, is this very unfeeling guy. We met him when Kimosabe died. He was one of the people just kind of standing around, not really caring, and then he has some exchange with the nurse that I don't remember. Who cares? Bruce Campbell's not even in this scene.
They were
Right.
looking at
Yeah.
they were looking at the flashing lights in the shed.
Yeah, that must be an electrical
that's-
problem.
Right? Yeah.
And you're like, well, you might want to check it out before that motherfucker burns down.
Right.
She's just like, I want to finish my cigarette.
Yeah, so we thought she was toast, but then we just find out Bubba got another old person, and that's pretty much all that scene was. I don't want to call it a non sequitur, but it
Didn't really.
Yeah,
was
I
just
honestly,
a-
without
another
killing
scene.
one of those two in it, I don't see the reason for the scene.
Yeah.
yeah.
It kind of just drives home that point that they just don't care.
Yeah, honestly,
Right, yeah.
anything in this movie it didn't have Elvis in the scene was very just. It was only that scene than the scene with the
The two
the doofus and the
morticians.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
I
I'll be,
felt like all those scenes were kind of just.
and you know what I'll be
Could've been
interested to
cut,
see
yeah.
is if we do the short story, I'll be very interested to see if the short story is just the stuff with him in it, and what they added for the film is the
Maybe.
stuff without him, and that's why it feels so
Right.
Out of
Yeah.
Why
place.
it doesn't fit well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like even like like we've touched a couple times here, like the scenes with the two morticians does kind of drive the point of like the
non-care.
the disrespect toward the elderly and their passing and stuff. But in that scene with
Yeah.
the nurse and the nursing home director guy
Right.
was just I don't know.
Like we already got it as far as her character went. Like we already
Right.
kind of understood where she was.
Yeah,
Like,
she's really condescending and treats him like a baby.
Yeah, and you didn't need to hammer home the fact they don't care. That's pretty clear.
Yeah,
By the time we
yeah.
get to this
Yeah,
point, like
yeah.
the lady in the iron lung in the hallway did it.
That is a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, that says volumes right
Yeah,
there.
that set the tone
Yeah.
quite well.
Yeah.
So then we get what the first we get to see Elvis being inquisitive and being explorative. Like he's outside and he's
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's right.
like he's outside smelling the flowers. I thought was
Yeah.
yeah. Nose. He's outside
then
smelling the
the
flowers.
the nurse approaches him and she's like, "You shouldn't be outside.
And
It's
what
time
is
for your
my
nap."
favorite scene?
Yes.
Yep.
This
And
is
then-
my favorite scene. Of the
Yeah,
entire
and
film.
then what does he call her?
he said, "Condescending bitch."
Yeah. Listen here,
I'm gonna lube my own crankshaft from now on.
which he does later.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "You treat me like a child one more time, I'm gonna wrap this walker around your head."
Yeah.
which I am sure so many people in a confined
yeah.
to a nursing home
Oh,
would just
yeah.
absolutely love to
And I'll
say.
lube my own crankshaft from now on.
She was very taken aback by that. She just slowly just turns and walks off. She's in
Leaves
shock.
him alone.
So
And
then he goes and does a very dangerous thing by taking his
That's
walker.
one of my other favorite scenes was him looking like he was absolutely terrified to
oh
walk
my
down
God,
a
yeah.
hill.
Yeah, there's like a hill. He's got his walker and
Yep. He walks to the bank of a river with a bridge going over.
Going
it.
down the
Yes.
hill though just drove me nuts. Gave me so much anxiety, but
Yeah?
he did make it.
I
to
know,
the bottom.
I know.
Yeah.
Picturing your granddad trying to
Oh,
do
my
that
own
shit.
grandfather
See,
trying to
it
do
worked
that.
very
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They
like
did a
you're
good
like,
job.
oh no, this brittle old man.
Although, let me just say, the bus went off the bridge, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where?
I don't know if it went. Well, I think it's implied like years ago, like the bridge was.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I mean,
Okay.
they even go through like a bunch of signs that say like road closed, and I imagine
bridge
too
out.
it might even be that bridge because maybe it was like the bus got washed down or something like that down the river. I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
it could be a different
Maybe,
bridge. I
yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
even
right.
though he looks at it later like it's that bridge, but I kind of feel like it's a little.
Yeah,
don't know.
because we get some flashes like he gets more of like the psychic whatever flashes and kind of sees the bus and sort of sees what's going on.
Right.
And then he finds the
door,
the license
license plate,
the license
right,
plate there,
right.
and the so they never show us him getting back up the hill. They kind of cut to him inside.
Yeah, but
They
he
show-
looks super fuckered.
Yeah. They show his face when he's about to do it, though, just like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the after, when he just
He's all
collapses in
dirty
bed.
and he gets his cream out and leaves his own cream
Loops his own
shad.
packers.
Yep. Takes
And
care
then
of himself.
is
Although
that
honestly,
when-
I would make her do it. I'd be like, nope, you're gonna rub my dick. Nope.
You've insisted all this time.
Yep, nope. and you're also gonna wipe my ass now.
So is this where JFK bursts in, has all his papers, or is there something else happens after that?
I believe that's correct.
That-
'cause
yeah,
they
he
do
does.
talk about-
Yeah.
they
Because
get
while
caught
he
up
was
on the
gone,
bus.
he had a
Yeah,
woman who calls herself his
Yeah.
niece.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
yeah.
woman who calls herself my
When
niece.
he's came in.
yeah, came and took him into town. You know what was he called?
What, newspaper morgue.
The newspaper board.
Newspaper, which they never explain.
No.
It's a fucking library.
The newspaper morgue.
And he's got all these documents about mummies, and he
Yep.
says
His
there's like
research.
a very little known mummy that was being toured around the southern states, and it got hijacked, and no one ever
It was
found.
dressed like a cowboy.
Just like
Yeah, that's
cowboy.
my thing. I'm like, they put boots. Like, I can't see doing that to a 1,000-year-old mummy anyway, because the chances of damaging it are super high.
Right.
But I'm willing to concede the hat. I'm fine with that. It's fine.
Do you think you'd put a cowboy hat on a mummy?
I don't think I would. I probably, honestly, might go with a toboggan. It's softer. It's a little bit easier. But
I'd do a fedora.
of course you would.
sombrero.
Oh,
My lady.
but you are not going to convince me about the boots. Cowboy boots are hard to get on.
when you're alive.
own.
doing
Yeah,
it yourself.
like try putting on a pair of cowboy boots on somebody else's foot. That fucking sucks. You're telling
All right.
me they did that to a mummy?
Leave a comment if you want us to try and put cowboy boots on a corpse to see how difficult
On-
it is.
well,
we'll make it happen.
For science.
For science.
No,
okay.
for legal purposes, I want to be very clear. We will make this happen, and nothing can stop us. We're gonna
no.
put boots on a
Whoa,
corpse.
hold on.
Whoa.
Yes.
Ian's making some very strong
No,
claims
yeah,
for
you can.
himself.
You can
He's
take,
using the term
take
we,
that to the
but-
bank. All four of us in this room right now are going to put boots on a corpse. 100%. We'll make it happen. Don't ask how we're going to get the corpse. That part hasn't
Get
been
us
figured
the
out yet.
1 million
Oh,
subscribers. and we'll put
1
boots
million
on-
subscribers. Oh Lord,
Boots
we'll
on a
reach out
corpse.
to you, university. Hey, you have any cadavers?
What are you
Call
talking
of
about?
Campbell boots on a corpse challenge.
I mean, listen, I could probably get in to a room with a corpse long enough to try to put boots on it.
but
there you have it.
But the chances of me getting out of there.
There you have it. 1 million subscribers, and we'll do it.
boy, 2 episodes.
But we're
in,
not
and here
murdering
we are.
anybody.
No,
That would be fucked
no,
up.
no.
We're
No,
just
yeah.
gonna- we're just
Listen,
gonna-
we will not be responsible for the corpse.
No, yeah, we're just gonna find somebody's
We're gonna play the
deceased
waiting
loved
game.
one
Yeah.
waiting
Yes.
for
Yeah.
burial.
Hey, Ian, maybe in 5 years we could put it on, or 5, 20, 30. Sorry, that was pretty.
5 years.
That wasn't very optimistic of me, was it?
Which one of us are you planning on dying in 5 years?
We'll see. It'll be
Ian,
one of us.
Ian
One of
really
us
wants
in
him to
this
finish this.
room.
Look, realistic, but ow.
Let's face it, I'm probably going to be the first to go.
Oh wow!
All right, so anyway,
Just
back to Bubba Ho Tep.
mummify me.
This mummify you.
Put
So-
a cowboy hat on me, too.
Yeah, yeah. So, isn't it at this point where they decide,
Well,
or no, they want to change nursing homes?
yeah. Like he asked. Yeah.
Which I was
Elvis
like,
asked-
if
What,
you-
what do
if
we
you
do? But change rest homes is
Yeah.
what I would do.
If you can, why are you still there?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
well, fuck the mummy in its entirety. That restaurant
Seriously.
sucks
Well,
ass.
I mean, as far
Right.
as JFK goes, I mean, he's doing.
He's
fine
got it pretty
there.
good
I mean,
at
I
what?
no,
Yeah.
I
he's
can't
got
imagine-
he's got an okay room,
Yeah.
but he still eats the same, walks the same fucking hallways, deals
Right.
with the same like.
right.
Yeah.
And those hallways are such a slog. Just
Oh,
to even
God.
watch
I
them walking
know.
through those long, narrow,
Yeah.
dingy hallways.
Yeah, they did a
is
really
awful.
good job of like showing you that they cannot move quick.
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah,
No, they're
mobility is
elderly
down.
and a half.
Yep.
So
They're not going to be able to walk fast.
is it so JFK leaves? You know, says like, all right, we're not going to do anything. We need to get out of here. All this stuff.
Yep.
He's going. They made a plan. They're going to start sleeping during the day, staying up at night,
Yep.
and then he leaves. And then I think Elvis kicks back and turns on the TV,
and he starts watching,
Oh, he sees
watching,
an Elvis movie marathon.
Elvis-
which has not one single clip.
No, that's
Nope,
what they do
no
very
Elvis
well in this
clips,
movie.
yeah.
It's a movie that centers on Elvis, and they don't show not one actual picture of Elvis or show or play any Elvis music.
Yep. He never sings when we see him on stage.
No.
in the
There is
flashbacks.
there is no likeness other than
Yeah. Other than the voice and the kind of hairdo.
Yeah, and that like lip he does, it's just the outfits. But so then he gets like an epiphany, like he doesn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he has is this nursing home, as shitty as it is.
Yep.
The only thing he has is this Shady Pine or Shady Rest.
Yeah, this ain't Golden Girls.
And I was like, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. He decides like, he's always been just a loser. Even when he was a celebrity, he was just a drug addict,
Yep.
loser, and like he always wanted to be a hero. That's why he played him in the movies.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that monologue. And kind of the more I think about it, and I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch them again. But his monologues, they were bleak but good.
They were. His monologues were so good because he's like pondering like some pretty deep shit for like a horror movie. Like there's some deep ass stuff in that. In those
especially
monologues.
a horror comedy.
Yeah, he's like pondering like the
Especially
deeper
an
meaning of
absurd
the
horror
universe and life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he decides, I'm going to be what I've always wanted to be. I'm going to be a hero.
They're gonna take care of business.
They're gonna
Gonna
kill
take care of
Bubba Ho
business.
Tep.
And one of my favorite bits, he picks up the phone and he calls JFK, and JFK has a red phone. I love it. He has a red phone. You get that shot of him,
Yeah.
where he's like half lit. With the
Yeah, I was
lamp.
gonna say
Yeah.
it's
He's got
definitely
the
like a dramatic presidential
Yeah,
framing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the lamp that's down
in every
low,
political drama ever.
Yeah, exactly.
and then he hangs up and kind of sits back to think. Yeah,
Yeah, like you can tell it's like Mr. President. There's an asteroid heading toward the United States.
yeah.
It suddenly turns into
Mr.
a
President,
camera
we need to
movie.
kill this mummy.
Yeah. Man, he tells him like, we're going to kill. He's like, Mr. President, we're going to kill us a mummy.
Yep.
I love that. So,
So they team up, and they start formulating their plan, and they're like, fire is said to cleanse evil, so they're gonna light them on fire. So they.
And he also
they-
wrote down some
I love
power
it.
words.
He wrote down power words. From
I
the
love
Book of Souls.
I love like when he's like they say fire cleanses the soul. He's like, who says that? He's like, I don't know, but I hope they're right.
I don't know, but whoever they are, I hope they're right.
Like, it's such an ill like put together plan. Like that's what I love about it too. Like
yeah.
and
We're
even
gonna
like
light
as
them
we're
on
getting
fire
ready,
and read something.
Although-
like their whole plan involves like taking a fume sprayer filled with isopropyl alcohol and catching a mummy on fire. That's their whole plan. And, like, and reading some words out of a chicken noodle soup for the soul or whatever the fuck he had. Like, that's their
Oh,
whole
it wasn't
plan.
even that. It was like that
the
means
Book
a
of
really bad
Souls.
Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss.
And then my favorite scene. This is the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. They make their plan, and then you get the hallway. The music comes up.
Yep, and we
You
get our
see
hero
JFK
shot.
come around the corner in his
Suit.
motorized scooter with his suit.
Yep.
Right.
Then out comes Elvis
On
the
his
first
walker.
time. Yeah, we
In
see
the
him in the
iconic
full
white-
The
White,
white,
tuxedo.
tuxedo,
jumpsuit. Yeah, the white
or
sequin
whatever it
jumpsuit.
is. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
Walker, and there's one in a hallway.
Which the
and it's just-
DVD case has on. which
Yes.
I love.
Beautiful, beautiful.
you see him coming down the hallway, and it's just this really epic, heroic shot of these two,
Yeah.
old men.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
Elvis
like the
and JFK.
Avengers.
Yeah.
It's the
ready
last ride.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
the
the
last
last
ride.
ride. That's what I like about it. They know in their mind that it's a suicide mission. So that's why they dress up. So that's
Yep.
what
Yeah.
I remember watching this years ago with a friend. They're like, why the hell would he be in the suit? It's because they're going to go out in style.
Yeah, it's his
Yeah.
final hurrah.
Yeah.
baby.
I think
Put on
that
your
touches on
uniform.
a deeper point of the movie is not losing yourself
Yes,
anymore
yes.
in this. Like,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
finally. Yeah, because even like they have that really sweet moment. This is earlier on. No, this is earlier on when JFK first comes to his room and he makes him promise.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have that
Doesn't
really
look him
sweet
in the
moment
eye.
between JFK and Elvis, where he's like, "You gotta look me in the eye and promise me that you had nothing to do with that thing in Dallas, and you are not associated with Jack Ruby or Lee Harvey Oswald."
Yeah,
And he does that, and he's like, "I believe you. Can I call you Elvis?" And like, oh, that was so sweet.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like,
Just that acknowledgement of
Yes.
of self. And I like that they.
And from
they-
that point on, too, he calls him Elvis calls him
Yeah.
Mr. President.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is Mr. President.
I think it was
specifically,
kind of just a resigning to their lots, where they're like, "Listen,
Yeah.
we're both crazy.
we're all
Yep.
we've got. But I kind of like how they did cast doubt on these characters' identity, because it
Right.
really painted that frustration for them. Like they really believe that they're these people, whether
Yeah,
they are not. Like,
exactly.
and,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's more of the point than who they are is just being true to what what you believe in, who you are. And it's kind of like interesting that the main monster of this movie like sucks out your soul and takes
butt.
it away. Yeah, it's kind of like through your butt, just undignified, right? Because you don't die,
And then you get
dignified
shit
a lot
out
of the
as
time.
soul poop.
Yeah, they said that he shits out soul residue.
Yeah, just like that's all.
Why
that
he
you're
was in
left-
the bathroom.
One flush and you're gone.
Now listen, I appreciate that he asked, like, why was he even in the bathroom? They didn't have to answer it like that.
No, but they made that point, of and these are people, that die forgotten and without their legacy. It almost feels like that's what the monster is in this movie, is that, that being forgotten, that loss of sense of self.
Sucking the soul out of a
And
bunch of
whether or not-
forgotten people.
Yeah, and they got to, well, I guess we'll see the result. Their struggle against this,
Yeah. So they make their way outside.
Somebody grab Eric's boots before he disappears into the deeper themes.
Whoops.
But yeah, so they go outside and they know that the mummy comes up out of the water where his sarcophagus is like in the bus.
But first, once they go outside, we get another like sweet moment between the two, which I love all the interaction between JFK and Elvis. It's like Bruce Campbell and Ozzie Davis's like scenes are gold every time.
Yeah, there was some really interesting chemistry there.
Yeah, there was.
There was.
But they get outside and they're like, all right, we're gonna do this. Here's the plan. They lay it out, and then Elvis shows JFK a picture of Priscilla. He's like, this is my daughter. Which they did it. You don't even see it. It's like
Oh no!
But he's like, he doesn't even call her Priscilla. I don't think ever. I think he
No,
he
his
does
lover's
in the monologues.
Priscilla.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, wasn't it his wife was Priscilla?
Yeah, his wife is
yeah,
Priscilla.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So he shows him a picture of his daughter. He's like, this is my daughter. And
He's like, I know.
JFK's like, I know. Like, he like, yeah, of course, you're Elvis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. And then they have this like kind of thing where it's like, we weren't the best fathers. We could what we had given.
Kind of forgive their own regrets.
They're like, no more regrets, and
to
like
acknowledge them.
then they're like, all right, you go this way, I'm gonna go this way. And I like it as like all JFK's like turning around. Elvis is like, one more thing. He's like, I gotta know, what about Marilyn?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, that is top secret. He's like, well, how was she in bed? And he's
Like, well, just between us. Wow.
yeah,
And then he just
Turns
spins around and takes off.
Yeah.
drives
And the
off.
way he goes. Oh, and Elvis had a Native American
Yes,
medicine bag
I
with
love that.
Bull's purple heart and a photo in it.
Oh,
has
yep,
Bull's
yep.
purple heart and Kemosabe's mask
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
the,
that's right.
and
yeah.
the photo of his
and
daughter.
the photo of his
Yeah.
daughter. Yeah.
So the legacy items, the
Yeah.
memories that won't be forgotten.
Yeah, he's taking them with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they
Symbolically taking them with him as
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so they go out.
well. Mr. Themes.
So they go out to this little like kind of part clear, part forested area, like the little walking path kind of area.
Yeah, it looked like a park.
Yeah, a little park kind of
Yeah.
adjacent to the home. And JFK is like, "All right, I'm gonna distract him." So he rolls his chair into a clearing, and they're standing there waiting for Bubba Ho Tep.
Yeah.
And then JFK falls asleep.
Yeah,
He just nods off in his chair. So
I loved it.
So Bubba Ho Tep comes up and he starts attacking Elvis.
Yeah.
And oh fuck, I forget how he turns the tables because Bubba
He-
Ho Tep's kicking his ass.
He
He wakes up. JFK wakes up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, what happens was like, so Bubba Ho Tep's like wrestling him, they kind of break apart, and then he starts doing his karate moves.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He starts showing off his his Elvis Presley karate moves, with the hand
Yep.
gestures and doing the kicks. And then JFK wakes up, sees it, and rolls up behind him, and they have
They have him cornered.
him cornered.
Yep.
And they're facing off.
They're
with them.
facing off, and then he just
the
kind of walks
look
on to Spears.
JFK had on his
Oh
face.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like, if I could get out of this chair, I'd beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And then Bubba Ho Tep walks off and disappears behind a tree.
Yeah.
Oh
Which
yeah.
he has one
that's
to
right.
do. He keeps disappearing. So
Yep. And JFK's like, I'll flush him out.
I'll flush him out.
And then he starts getting
cruises
his ass
off.
kicked.
Yeah, he cruises off. And then Elvis sees that Bubba Ho Tep is hiding behind a tree
Yeah.
and jumps out and attacks JFK. And I like what they do is like, it's kind of like a weird finale because it's kind of anticlimactic for the most part, but because like this whole battle is going over like a few feet.
Yeah,
and they
right.
show like just because this is happening is such a little distance away that they're in immobility because they're old they're old men.
How debilitating it is
Yeah,
for him in this.
because like
yeah.
Ozzy's getting JFK's getting his ass kicked like just like a few feet away from Elvis.
He just can't get to him.
He
Yeah.
can't get to him. He can't get to him.
Yeah.
So when Bubba Ho Tep attacks JFK, he throws him off the chair.
Chair keeps going.
and the chair keeps going and does a loop.
Which is not how that works.
That's how it works. How it works. And Elvis sees it coming along.
Although they might have had some divine help with that chair, as
Maybe.
they kind of hint.
They hint at the
Oh,
end.
They
yeah.
hint at the end.
So Elvis sees the chair coming,
Yep.
and he takes the sprayer tank and he jumps on the chair, spins around, and comes and saves JFK before he can have his soul sucked out of him.
Right.
And
Blessedly
he,
through his mouth, it
yes.
looks like it was going.
Which
Yeah.
makes you wonder, why didn't he do that the whole time?
Right.
All
Right.
right. Bubba Ho Tep is a weird dude.
He has made
Hey,
some interesting
listen,
choices.
listen. Sometimes you just have to choose the salad.
It's all it's all voluntary. So
Super salad.
yes.
So, yeah, he doesn't get his soul sucked out.
But the stress of
Yeah.
it kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Elvis sprays Bubba Ho Tep and catches him on fire, but it's not a lot of fire.
No.
And then we get JFK's dying scene.
Yeah, he tells him the president is soon dead.
Yeah.
You have to stop it. You have to. And he hands him off the paper with the incantation on it.
Incantation.
Yes.
And I don't remember.
I
what
got it.
You got it. Okay. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
That's right. Yes,
Oh
perfect.
boy.
Perfect.
So like he stands up, the incantation is, "You nasty thing from beyond the dead. No matter what you think or do, good things will never come to you. and if evil is your black design, you can bet the goodness of the light ones will kick your bad behind." I love it. He's like, for Christ's sake. He's like so pissed. He's like, that's it. That's
He's just like, come on, man.
Doesn't even rhyme well.
Yeah, what is it? He said like, do you get something?
Yeah. You got that from the book of Souls. What kind of decoder ring came with that shit?
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you get a Dakota ring with that shit.
Yeah. So it doesn't work. Needless to say, Bubba Ho Tep gets up and they fight again.
He attacks him on they're fighting on the
On
scooter this time.
Yeah. And then they go,
And
over
they're
the
actually like
hillside.
fucking each other up. They're trading.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
trading
yeah.
full on punches. Although I'm like, listen, you are a 1,000-year-old dry corpse, and he's got rings that would knock out a donkey.
But he's old.
He's old.
Yeah, but like even if you can get your wrist up to here, which for those of you that can't see is above your head, like just let gravity with those fucking rings pound it into that dude's face.
They might catch on fire, burning through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because those rings were huge.
Yeah.
So they
They tumble down the hill.
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
same bank.
We
they
revisit
tumble
that
down.
hill.
A great
Yeah.
stunt where two actors
100%
just
is
fucking
dead.
ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets a compound fractured rib.
Yeah.
Yep.
Burst
He gets
through
he
his
gets a
Most
side
realistic
puncture.
part of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Here.
It is,
Yep.
yeah. Like,
And then-
that's
and then,
a severe injury.
Yeah.
And then Bubba Ho Tep just convinces of beating the shit out of
Yep.
him.
Just starts
Yeah.
beating the fuck
Thank
out
God.
of him.
But
And
you know
then
what?
he's going for the soul, but
This entire
Elvis-
movie is two old guys fighting each other.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's
That's
old.
true.
Yeah, it's a fucking
That's why the punches aren't hurting him either.
Yeah.
Well, eventually he resigns to beat him in the face with a stick, like a
Like a log.
Yeah,
Just
just
turn them over and over again on the forehead.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And it's not even this dramatic like whack. It's more like every time he sits up, he's just like, no.
yeah.
back.
But yeah, so meanwhile, Elvis reaches over and he undoes the top of the can, which I think added a little bit of gasoline to
Yeah,
it,
they put
too.
gasoline. On it.
Yeah, because the rubbing alcohol is just not gonna.
Right. So it comes running out, and then Bubba Ho Tep is just beating the crap out of him, and it starts to go to steal his soul. And then there's a one-liner that I forget.
Oh yeah.
And then he lights him on fire.
With
This
the
time his
cigarette lighter.
entire body's on
Well,
fire.
he manages to punch him off of him, and then he lights him
Right,
on fire.
right.
After he has this realization, like my soul, everything will cease to exist. I'll just get flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. Gone with a flush.
Just an extra spurt of desperation.
Yep.
He's like, I'm not gonna die. My soul's not gonna end up like
Yeah,
that.
not this way.
Not
So
this
even
way.
though they are right next to the river, Bubba Ho Tep does not get into the water in time, and he dies.
Yeah, he falls in the water, but he's still on
Eventually,
fire.
but
yeah,
it's
he's
just
still
too
on
late.
fire, yeah.
he's
Oh,
like-
and another
He's
gag
been
is
cleansed.
towards the end of the movie, like this whole final fight, Bubba Ho Tep will talk to them, and
Yeah.
we see like 3D like
that
hieroglyphs
was
come
pretty
out of
neat.
his mouth
Yeah.
and then line up and they get
special effect in the whole
translated.
movie. Yeah, the
Yeah.
only like visual
Yeah.
effect in the whole movie is
Oh, I
this,
think you're right. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
words. And like he tells him like right for the big battle, he's like, "Eat dog dick, you
Eat
ass
Anubis's
wipe."
dog
Yeah,
dick.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
ass wipe.
Anubis
And it
ass
has
wipe.
like a dick and a hand and an ass. Like,
Like I'm like we're all fairly sure that that's not what the hieroglyphs.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'd bet money that probably wasn't.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah,
Then,
Elvis has vanquished the mummy.
and he talks about how he feels something hard poking something soft inside of him, and this is
Yeah.
the end. And
Yep.
And yep,
He sees the stars.
Yeah,
I love
he's
that.
laying
part.
there dying.
I love that.
the
so
stars form hieroglyphs that say all is well.
Which
And
again,
he
like
tells
I've
you-
said, if you wanted to, you could take that as an interpretation that they had divine help.
much. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So-
I
with
see
the
what you mean.
wheelchair.
I love it.
right.
Cause like he sees that and he's like, "Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
and then he dies.
No, fade to
What?
black.
Fade
you
to
don't,
black.
You
Yeah.
don't see him die.
Yeah, you don't. see him die.
Yeah, and then we get the
Black.
credits.
Okay, credits.
Now, before we move on to the Quality of Campbell segment, keep it relatively brief so we don't go too much over time. But I have to ask, what is your theory? Was he Sebastian Haff or was he Elvis?
I fully believe he was Elvis.
You
Or
believe
at
he
least
was Elvis?
I want to believe that anyway. It's like in the context of this the portrayal and the spirit of the character. I've got to think it's Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ben?
So, God, I want it to be that he's Elvis because if he's Sebastian Haff, then all of this bravery and courage is based on false memories. And so,
Yeah.
Right.
however, just because I have to, this movie is so fucking bleak and it's so bleak in its portrayals that it wouldn't surprise me if they intended it to be Sebastian Haff the whole time.
I kind of see what
Right.
you mean. So,
But I'm going to choose to believe that it's Elvis.
Yes.
okay, nice. I think at the end of the day, the point is that it doesn't matter, of course, and,
Right.
and that his,
Well,
his
yeah,
belief
right,
is,
right.
of course.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you asked me to pick a side, and I hate to say it, but I'm kind of in agreement with the fact that it's just probably not Elvis. It's probably a demented
Old Elvis impersonator.
old Elvis impersonator, and I hate to just kind of sound like an echo though, but I really just want to believe that was Elvis right there.
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell made me believe it was Elvis.
Yeah.
That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it actually damages the character if it's Sebastian
Yeah.
Haff.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So what about you, Ian?
I'm saying I think it was Elvis because that movie was just so fucking goofy at every turn. Like the horror villain was a mummy dressed as a cowboy.
right. He sucks
It's,
souls on
just,
ass.
it's absurd enough to be Elvis.
Right.
It's
yeah.
not. It's not so hard to believe.
I for
Yeah.
sure
No,
agree.
not at all.
Yeah, I agree with like the dark themes of
Yeah.
like getting old and dementia and stuff like that. But like at the same time, this movie was just so fucking goofy. I'm like, he's Elvis for me.
I think
Yeah.
they left it ambiguous enough to where it could be either one.
oh yeah,
and I
yeah.
appreciate that
But-
actually a lot.
But I think
Yeah.
the real question is
Oh, yeah.
Jack JFK?
is Jack JFK.
100%. I have
100%.
seen
So that one I
that
actually
one
do
for
think-
sure.
It all adds, it all
Bag
adds
of
up.
sand
It all
and
adds
all.
up. It all adds up.
No, it is not. And I, after having completed the entire movie, I stand by what I said before. There is no way JFK could grow that style of mustache.
That's all part of the. That's part of the.
Fuck
the
off!
beauty.
It is not.
Everything else makes sense.
Yes,
They could
yes.
dye his skin.
The
they could
rest
put
of it.
sand in his head.
Listen, we got a mummy and a cowboy hat. I'm willing to, but listen, that mustache. I've seen pictures of JFK. It's just not there.
The mustache is the line.
It is.
To be
Yep.
fair, you've never seen him at that age, though.
I don't care. That did not dent in any way.
Now I want to hear actually what our listeners think too. Like absolutely
Yes.
answer that question. These two characters, were they really Elvis and the president John F. Kennedy, or were they just demented old fools?
Yeah, so definitely let us know.
Or was one demented and was the other one Elvis?
let us know for sure in the comments or on the Instagram. But I think right now we need to go and discuss the quality of Campbell.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about Patreon.
Do you like our weekly content here on Cult of Campbell? Then visit our Patreon at CultTalkNet. For only $5 a month, you can join our Groovy tier, which includes early access to all Cult Talk Net episodes, full-length audio watch-alongs, and access to our private Facebook group.
I'm sorry, sir. No one will be seated after the doors are closed.
It helps maintain the illusion.
Or for only $10 a month, you can join our certified Groovy tier, which includes all the perks of the Groovy tier, plus a monthly bonus episode and early access to our early recorded beta episodes.
For the month of May, our bonus episode for you is the 1978's Within the Woods, a short film starring Bruce Campbell and progenitor of the Evil Dead.
And the only place to find out whether that's groovy or not groovy is Patreon at CultTalkNet and help support the podcast. Now, back to the show.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
All right, I think it's time that we discuss the quality of Campbell in Bubba Ho Tep.
Yes.
So, Ian, what do you think of Bruce?
This is 100% quality Campbell. This is groovy. Like, I mean, he's the star. He's in nearly every scene. The scenes he's not in are noticeably like useless. Like, he does the voice. The monologues are great. His delivery is hilarious. Like, this movie is just weird and entertaining the whole way through. And I think this is a movie that probably would not have worked without the right Elvis.
Right.
And I think he was the right Elvis.
That's what I think. Like, man, like, this is the role I really feel like, aside from Ash Campbell, Ash Williams, this is the role that Bruce was born to play. Like, I'm surprised like no one ever thought the casting was Elvis prior to this, like in like a TV movie or something. I could easily seen like some TV of the week, like on Fox in the '90s, like, you know, Elvis, the Untold Story, you know, with Bruce Campbell as Elvis, like, because he just brings such believability to that character, his portrayal of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Ian's vote is groovy.
Yeah, Ian gave us a groovy. I think for sure, like, this is like,
Tyler, we're not sure what you think.
I know. I'm very on the fence about this.
Yeah, why don't you don't keep us in suspense?
Yeah, I'm not sure like if I can give this now. Like, this is groovy. Like, I've always said, in my opinion, this is grade A Campbell. Like, I always go Bubba Ho Tep,
this is
Army
the
of Darkness.
movie.
This is the movie. This is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and definitely my favorite Bruce Campbell movie. So I can't give anything other than a groovy, honestly.
Right. Yep. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah. So the last one I gave it not groovy, and that was Evil Dead, of course. This one I'm gonna have to give it a groovy. This was actually quite. I mentioned it to Ty earlier. This is the only other movie that I can compare this to would be like Big Trouble in Little China. There's no reason why that film should be good,
Right?
but it is.
Like, anytime you tell someone like, you want this movie about Elvis and JFK fighting a mummy in an old folks home, they're like, nope, I don't.
But what carried it over the top with Bruce was his monologues. His monologues, that was a great piece of acting, whether you want to call it vocal acting or whatever. That showed a lot of depth in him.
Yeah.
Because even to do it vocally, because, you know, a lot of it was just him talking over while something else was happening. You still, to get your voice there, you have to commit to it. You know, you have to have that believability in your voice. And so he definitely brought that, and he explored themes and brought definitely a sense of weight to it that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of those things where I couldn't even begin to think who would have played this role.
So this definitely groovy for me. And I've seen some Bruce Campbell movies before, and I'll definitely say this is probably the best acting I've seen come from him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With a solid.
Yep. It is a hard groovy for me. I have to agree. Like, the acting that we got out of Bruce Campbell in this was amazing. I was absolutely convinced that he was Elvis, to the point that I forgot that we were watching a Bruce Campbell movie for a time there. You know, no, that was pretty solid acting. The story that he brought to life was very, like, I feel like he really hit the nail on the head with just kind of like my secondhand personal experience with like the aging process and stuff like that. Like, he really captured that very well.
Oh yeah. Like, even when he's like walking around, like doing his investigating stuff, like, he's still got that Elvis face. Like he's got that like snarled lip the whole time. Like when he just like walking around, he's like in character.
Yeah.
He's-
Well, one of the things I think he did particularly well was he portrayed a sense of quiet indignity
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that is kind of inherent to that situation, where it's like you're not like so down and out that you're like whiny, but it's just this quiet,
defeated.
this quiet suffering of the indignity of it all.
when we first meet him, like, and he's watching Bull go through his like fit, and like all he can do is just reach over and push his little button to like get a better. Can't lift his head up to look. He's got to like use the bed to bring himself up.
Right.
Like, it's you can see just kind of a defeated man. Like,
Yeah.
whined about his dick not working.
So, do you want to take this time, since we've all said groovy?
Yeah, we have a unanimous
That's a
groovy.
unanimous groovy.
Now
And
that's just a contrast to
amazing.
last episode.
Yeah.
where
Where
we
we were
had
divided.
a divided tie as Urs and Eric voted groovy for Evil Dead,
Yep.
and Ben and myself voted not groovy.
Right.
And Ian had to leave, step out before the quality
Before
of
the
Campbell.
The voting
yeah,
process.
I
finished.
think we need to go ahead and use this time for
our
the
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker. to find out.
Yeah.
From last
And
episode.
in light of this unanimous groovy on Bubba Ho Tep,
Yeah.
4 out of 4 groovies.
Yep.
Right.
And I feel pretty confident that Ursa would have given this.
Oh,
a
yeah.
groovy as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Not to speak
I-
for him, but he definitely.
not to
I
speak
think
for him,
he
but
definitely
I'm
enjoyed
pretty
this.
secure
Yeah.
that he probably.
So, Ian, what would you say 1981's Evil Dead, quality of Campbell, what are you going to give it? Groovy
Well,
or not groovy?
I'm gonna say the movie groovy. Like Evil Dead is a classic for a reason. The special effects are great. It's a master class in like low budget filmmaking. Like Raimi had a style from the jump, but quality of Campbell is what we're rating.
Right.
And he definitely had not found his skill yet.
Right.
There were a lot of lines that were like, ugh.
Okay.
Like just weirdly delivered. So keeping with quality of Campbell specifically, I'm going to say probably not groovy. It's
groovy.
not going to,
Groovy.
yeah.
Wow.
But again, Evil Dead, groovy. Bruce Campbell in
Yeah.
Evil Dead,
Yeah.
not
Right.
groovy.
And that
I
was
wanna
my-
be, I want
That's
to be clear.
we touched on that in the
We
first
did.
episode.
Right,
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
yeah, we
not
all
even to
kind of
say
agreed.
like he was
Wow.
shitty. It was just
No.
like he's clearly improved. Like watching Bubba Ho Tep tonight.
It's night
it was
and day.
And that's
yeah,
definitely
oh, yeah,
something
yeah.
like people need to understand about the cult of Campbell is that we're talking about these movies and we're giving our our views on the movie on the film.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're not rating the film itself. We're rating the quality of Bruce Campbell within that film.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was definitely a new actor.
Yeah, he was 100% rookie, and so
Right. Yeah. He was a rookie actor in a movie that, although executed well, still a rookie movie. There were some mistakes and moments in the movie where you're like, that didn't work so well.
Like
Absolutely.
1981's Bruce Campbell could have never held a candle to 2002 Bubba Ho Tep. Bruce Campbell.
no,
Yeah,
no,
that's correct.
and that's
Yeah,
just
correct.
world weariness.
Yes.
that brings you. Although it'll be interesting to see if when we do Evil Dead 2 how the opinions change, because he had some time there.
So we all gave our so Ian votes
Ian
not
has broken
groovy.
the tie.
So that means we have given ununanimously
Right,
Evil
split.
Dead
By split
1981
decision.
Yep.
is considered not groovy by the cult of Campbell. Whereas Bubba Ho Tep unanimously is considered groovy,
Groovy,
by the
100%.
cult of Campbell. Gets that certified groovy seal of approval.
All right.
But I
Certified
think
gravy.
yeah, we all gave it groovy. What Eric, what was your favorite Bruce Campbell moment in Bubba Ho Tep?
Oh my gosh, my favorite Bruce Campbell moment. That's a hard question because there are a lot of just exceptionally good ones. Like I kind of went into just how great his acting was in this movie, but I think it was kind of once he started turning that charm back on. So I hate to say it, but it might have been the scene where he was getting cream rubbed on his dick. And
I told you the boner scene was the first scene where I was like, all right, I like this movie.
You did. You know what? You're right. And because that was just where you started to see it. And so you kind of got both aspects of the character in the same scene there. And it's like, oh, yeah, there's Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce is back. So, yeah.
So would that be your favorite moment?
So my favorite. So I my problem is I really like all of his monologues, but
Yes.
so those aren't necessarily a moment. If I had to pick a favorite moment, it would be when he just finally told off that fucking nurse.
Yeah.
You condescending bitch.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank you. It's like having an itch that you're not allowed to scratch, and then finally the
Right.
person like looks away, and you're like, oh, I'm
Right.
gonna dig in deep to my elbow.
Yeah, 'cause I like it after he tells her off. Like he turns back around, he like does that like look off. He's like, yeah,
Right, like he's just like, oh, thank you, God, that felt so good.
Good job, Elvis.
So
Yeah.
so that one. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we go back and listen to the reactions when he did that, I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I
Just
think
like,
you're right.
yeah. So if I could classify the monologues as a moment, I would say the monologues. However, if we're going for just one scene done in beginning to end, it would have to be him taking out the nurse.
Boom.
Right.
All right.
Ian, what about you? What's your favorite Bruce Campbell moment?
When he was going down the hill to investigate. Because look, he did such a good job with just the exasperation of like, God, here we go. But when he was going down the hill, he looked genuinely fucking terrified.
Oh,
that he
yeah.
was gonna eat shit.
Which you
It's
would.
giving
like-
Ian Eric anxiety.
It was.
Well, I like
watching
not
that.
not Bruce Campbell, not Elvis Presley, just that man walking down the hill was horrified to be doing that.
Well,
He
I bet
showed
there
me-
was a few times because he had to pretend like he was leaning on the walker.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
betting there's a few times where he's like, if I mismove, I'm going over top of it.
yeah,
I'm going over this thing and down this hill.
Yeah, like that was just, I don't know. He portrayed like, holy fuck, like that's the most scared he looked in the whole movie.
Oh,
Right.
without a doubt.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
the bug, fuck the mummy, fuck the dead people. Walking down this fucking hill is gonna kill me, and he sold that so well. It was cracking me up. Like that's my favorite moment.
Ty?
I think my favorite moment was that the hero monologue he does. Yeah, after he sees the movies where he's like, and he talks about these shitty pictures, man. Like,
Yeah.
and then he goes on the thing about how he's always just been a drug addict, goofball, and that he's going to be what he in the movies he's always a hero, and that's what he's going to be. He's going to be finally be a hero.
See, I
like
just
that.
couldn't separate one from another.
Right. All his monologues are great.
Right.
Everything about this movie's great. So
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, such a good movie.
So another question I have would be fun to discuss.
Ooh.
Do you think this movie needs a sequel?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no. It's fun. It's a fun movie, and I wouldn't hate to see more.
Right.
But like, it feels like it's too perfect of like a performance
Right,
and
yeah.
a weird concept.
Like I know
and-
Bruce always gets asked that. Like I remember I've seen one interview where he just had like not everything. Just so you like something doesn't mean it needs a sequel.
right,
And like it does. It ends where presumably Elvis
Yeah.
dies.
Right.
And he
It
dies
was
a
a good
hero.
arc.
Like,
It was a really good character
Yeah, presumably
arc.
he's dead. Like we don't. I think it would cheapen it if like we get a sequel and it's the next morning and wait, we got a live one over here and it's Elvis.
Yeah.
And
So
they move into some other nursing home and there's a vampire infestation or whatever.
So I understand they did the Ash and
Yeah,
Bubba Ho
there's
Tep
a couple
crossover.
crossover. Yeah, there's like
and
a
so
Ash
those
and
were that in that spirit. I think you could do some sequels.
Sure.
that
Oh,
interests
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You could do it in literature. You could do it in comics. You could do
Right.
it with Evil Dead and
Right.
that nature. But as far as like an actual 2-film sequel,
Yeah.
No.
I think
Right.
they definitely told the story that they were set out to tell, and I
Yeah.
think they told it well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading like years ago, they were like trying like Don Cascarelli. He was like trying to get a sequel greenlit, but like Bruce has like said he's not going to be involved, like 'cause he thinks it's a perfect project.
and
He's not-
if
well-
you're not gonna have Bruce in it,
they
there's
were
no
going to
point.
cast
Absolutely.
Ron Perlman as Elvis. I thought that would have been awful,
Interesting.
I like Ron
horrendous,
Perlman, but no.
not as Elvis.
Yeah.
No,
No,
not-
yeah.
But I think it was going to be a prequel. It was going to be like a vampire prequel, and like
Vampire.
Paul Giamatti was going to be Colonel Parker or whatever like that.
See, that-
manager is. And,
Then why
I don't wanna
did see my problem with that? It just straight off the jump was if it's a prequel, then why is and he's fighting like a vampire or some shit?
Right.
Why would he be so resistant to the idea of a
that,
mummy?
that-
Yeah,
exactly. That's
you're
that's
right.
what
Mummies
would've-
don't
yeah.
exist. Shouldn't that be the part where he's like, yeah, holy shit, I fought vampires?
Yeah, I fought a
Right,
bunch of
right.
vampires like
Yeah.
40 years
Yeah.
ago. Like,
No,
Yeah.
Boo.
So
Yeah, no, I don't think a sequel is necessary. As a matter of fact, it might be harmful.
oh,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think it
definitely.
would.
Yeah.
So a sequel would be less harmful than a prequel.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
very
would-
true.
This
Very
entire
correct.
movie is set on the
Yeah.
foundation that
It would be
history happened just the way it happened.
Right.
It would be hard to make a sequel to this and make it as good as this. Right.
No, so
yeah.
no Bruce Campbell. Period. No further.
film.
No
Yeah,
point
no
for
further
Bubba Ho
to get
Tep
the
too.
franchise.
Yeah. I don't want to see.
But you
anyone
could
else.
conceivably do a sequel where it's not good, but not damaging either.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
but any attempt at a prequel is going to absolutely destroy the first
Right.
film.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No,
There's just no way.
absolutely.
Well, I think
agree.
we've.
Unless you wanted to do like a legitimate Bruce Campbell Elvis movie. And then at the very end of it, like no hint, no nothing, just have it be like, oh, we're gonna go. No, oh God, no! But you just do a straight up Elvis movie with Bruce Campbell, and at the very end, be like,
Yeah.
hey, like he gets his guys together. We're gonna go check out this
Oh, yeah.
impersonator.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's like
Yeah.
a straight up. Just like,
Oh yeah, that
No,
would be.
that
it,
yeah.
it could even be something
Yeah.
like Bruce Campbell, like not Bruce Campbell, but Elvis, like. Yeah, they could give the action element, like he's fighting like mobsters or some shit like that, or
Right.
cleaning up a street gang or
Yeah.
something. If they wanted to be fantastical with it, but like don't make it a creature. But then, like,
Right.
yeah, at the end, maybe that's like
I-
he's like, I'm done fighting mobsters. I'm getting the fuck out of this.
Because I
game.
absolutely would watch Bruce Campbell as Elvis. again.
Right.
No,
Just
see,
not
I
as-
wouldn't
not a-
even do the criminals. I would just do a straight up like Elvis biopic,
Oh,
and then at
yeah.
the very end, be like, "We're gonna go see this guy." Be like, "What? That was a prequel to Bubba Ho Tep?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I give
The
it
surprise
Whoa.
prequel.
That would be the
There we
best
go.
way to do
So
it.
that's the
how
only-
you could do
A
a
prequel without.
There you
like
go.
Split and Unbreakable. Like,
Yes, yes,
seriously.
exactly like that. Where you, till the very end, you didn't realize it was, and then you could do it without
just
damaging
cuts
it.
to him,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
falling, then like waking up. Right, it just starts at the beginning. Bubba Ho Tep.
Right. Yeah. You're just in that bed with that
Yeah.
those cycle of visionary shots. Just
Yep.
Yeah, so
There we
you
go.
could do something like that and do a prequel to where it doesn't damage. But if you try to make him do anything fantastical, that
Right.
ruins this
Right.
movie.
It's the storyline
Yeah.
of this one. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so the
But-
answer is no. Fuck no. No.
I think we've talked about Bubba Ho Tep enough. I think we're all
Oh,
in
yeah.
agreement. I'm really happy that you guys enjoyed it. I was
Yep.
kind of concerned.
No, yeah,
So-
definitely. Thank you for
Yes, thank you guys for
Yeah, no, I can
introducing us to
appreciate
this.
that.
Yeah, most definitely. This was definitely an enjoyable one.
I hope everyone listening has seen it. If you haven't, please do.
Definitely check it out.
You
Definitely
know,
worth it.
spoiler. I know we didn't give a spoiler warning, but like we're assuming you've watched this movie if you're listening to us,
Right.
And you know, definitely enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
give it another watch. Give
With
it another
modern
watch.
cinema being what it is today, it's hard to
Yeah.
it's hard for me to make
And
recommendations.
this,
And
yeah,
I would
this is one of
definitely
those
recommend this.
movies.
Yeah.
This is definitely a movie where if you know the spoilers, it's still still have
You'll
to watch
still-
the movie.
you'll
Yeah,
still
oh,
Like,
really
it's
for
still-
sure.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would absolutely watch this, having it being spoiled because the concept doesn't do the film justice.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's really hard to explain to someone. Like it's really hard to get someone to watch this if you try to explain.
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Because like I said, you're
Right.
like you tell them like, oh, it's Elvis and JFK fighting a mummy in an old folks home.
Right.
Yep.
Like that doesn't make any sense. You know, at that point they're like, I don't think I want to watch that.
Yeah, that sounds fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, it is, but it's good weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
So,
that's it.
let us know what you guys think of Bruce Campbell and Bubba Ho Tep.
Bubba
Is
Ho
it
Tep.
groovy or not groovy? I think the answer is pretty clear on this one.
yeah,
for
but we want to hear what you think.
Yeah, definitely let us know and follow us on Instagram at Cult Talk Net. We'll post stuff there for exclusive content and our YouTube Cult Talk Net. And until next time, I think we'll let you guys go
Heck yeah.
and stay groovy.
Stay groovy.
Thank you very much.
Hail to the king, baby.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.